to see what that will really result in. But we are in to the map. I'm going to let you guys take it away. And wow, we already see some interesting picks coming out.
Well, we do see this NIP defense where they will be running Widowmaker. Nope, they're not. Lynx are going to swap off, go to Genji at the last moment here. But defense has been troublesome for NIP so far here today, especially on Route 66, where, Jamerson, we were watching in the back room where NIP let a crazy overtime push go through on them, all the way through second, through most of third. So hopefully they've learned some lessons in keeping things a little bit more solid as the Gamers Origin offense rolls out.
Yep, Gamers Origin out the gates. We did have a Hanzo just for a moment, but Dixie Dix will swap off onto that Genji, so just going with that 3-2-1. Well, they are being contested at the payload so far, but Zappis caught out of position. He was on top of that train. It's going to be Poco that takes him down.
And that's a quick pick here from Gamers Origin. NIP getting really aggressive even by Route 66 standards, but it is not working out. Gamers Origin punishing with authority. Every kill going their way after that early pick off of Zappis, and that's brutal. That also isn't usually where you would gauge for early aggression here on Route 66. You kind of want to wait till people round the bend.
At least that, or try to trade for kills, but that didn't even happen for NIP there. They just kind of funneled in one by one. Didn't buy that much time. There's still 3 minutes left for them to get to point 1 here as the defenders are coming back in.
Well, the defense of NIP is coming back in, and they do not want to get snowballed as they did before. They're just rushing right out. You see Zik here in the back looking for perhaps a support, not able to find it here early on. But now it's Dixie Dix into Fraggy. Early on, Fraggy gets punished for diving in really heavily, and now Gamers Origin is going to be coming out with another 6 versus 5 opportunity, and really not much in the way of pressure on Dixie Dix here at the top, getting exactly what he needs here on Genji, as the rest of Gamers Origin just rolls right into NIP. This defense so far, not really working out for them, despite Zappis' best efforts with that last pulse bomb.
Oh, nice pulse bomb, connected by Zik there, and really that initial, or that secondary engagement started off with Zik just pulling so much attention in the back line that once Fraggy jumped in with that Winston, he didn't have the supports of his DPS to like help him mitigate some of the damage and mitigate some of the attention, and then from there he got focused on down, and Gamers Origin were just able to go through the rest of the NIP lineup.
All right, well, Gamers Origin, we'll see if they can keep that momentum going forward. They do have Dragon Blade Transcendence combo on deck. NIP, they can counter with a Nano Blade of their own here, so this is going to be key in terms of deciding time on the map here for NIP. They do need to hold this, but both Genjis now starting off. It's the early Dragon Blade here from Dixie Dix. He's to the back line, grabs 2 early on here, but NIP, they just counter dive and they've evened this up somewhat. It's a 3 versus 3 here on the payload.
Yep, they do have the respawn advantage. They should just back off right now as Himsy had a great angle over there by the stairs, dropped a little low, will have to back off for now. But Gamers Origin, they've got the tactical visor, they got the defensive sound barrier at the ready here. There's no defensive ultimates quite yet for NIP. They need to buy a little bit more time for Kindle to get his sound barrier.
We'll see if Kindle can get that sound barrier up. It should be up here in just a moment. Zappis opening up the pulse bomb, does not connect. Gamers Origin respawns coming in here quickly, and they're counter diving on the NIP dive. They catch Lynxer out here, force him out. He's just barely healed up in time, but Zappis has already died in this fight. So 5 versus 5 here, but Gamers Origin in a much healthier position. NIP had to back up and give up some ground, and now you see Gamers Origin diving right back in, and reinforcements are coming in. The tac visor of Boko very well could seal this fight.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Himsy wasn't able to do much with his own there. Now they're pushing forward with the man advantage, and they've got positioning over that spawn, the cave area there. Now, we do have Zappis caught out. He will go down, and this is the Nano Blade coming out from Lynxer earlier on.
And the Nano Blade goes off. It does get a little bit, but not as much as it would have had if not for the Transcendence. Still, though, the next fight is underway. NIP looking to hold. They drop the sound barrier and move right in. And the sound barrier trying to deal with Dixie Dix as he picks up another 2. So, Gamers Origin able to deal with that sound barrier, clean things up, and this payload will cruise to the second point. And I gotta say here, for NIP, Jamerson, they've really struggled to get any form of stability here.
Yeah, the way they've been rotating their ultimates, Himsy just not able to find a good angle. Zappis has landed some pulse bombs, but they weren't able to convert off those fights either. They just need to be able to close out these fights, but they're really struggling so far against Gamers Origin. No swap bombs coming out. They're just going to continue with this triple DPS dive.
Well, the key with their Gamers Origin as well is that they will have Transcendence up in a moment. They can punch this one in even heavier. NIP, they have a small window to engage, but they're not really in the position to do so. You know Fraggy is looking at this. He gets poked out. He can't go in. So by the time he's able to go in, Transcendence is going to be it for Gamers Origin. This is a great moment for them to just pile on, and here it comes. The Attack Visor's in from Poco early on. They haven't even had to use the Transcendence just because of Poco's early initiation. NIP, they back out, they give him room. But this is, oh, Poco goes a little bit too deep there.
Yeah, he ran all the way towards their spawn there, getting a little bit over-aggressive, and they might get punished here. But it's a 2-for-1 exchange as Dixie Dix, along with Zik, were able to take out both supports. Now the Primal Rage does come out from Fraggy, and that's going to allow Himsy to get 1 kill onto Ben Best, but Zik has immediately traded back.
And now for Gamers Origin, they're still trying to keep this fight alive. Linkser, though, the blade is out, moving in, and gets poked down pretty heavily. Frankly, didn't really have targets in mind when he did the Dragon Blade. Gamers Origin was in full retreat, and Linkser just gets bopped towards the top. This is going to open up a great opportunity here for Gamers Origin, where now they don't have to worry about the blade. They have the man advantage as Zappos just goes down, and Dixie Dix will be in a great position for a Dragon Blade that could be fatal here to NIP.
Saving grace was that Transcendence along with that Tactical Visor, but Himsy went down as he was in the middle of casting it. Now they do have a 2-for-1 exchange. Linkster starting to go off on this Genji so far, but Poco did trade away for Zuppa.
Right now, NIP, they do have a respawn advantage. Respawns are moving in. So Gamers Origin not going to get this one just here. And it is worth knowing that NIP had to defend last year for 4 minutes, almost 4.5 early on. So in terms of just taking a bit of a breather here, Jamerson, they have stabilized a bit, but they still have a while to go. It's not easy to defend this last point on 66.
And there's a lot of power behind Gamers Origin's next push right now. Kindle, the only one with the ultimate on the side of NIP. They've got the sound barrier, but they're going to have to deal with Poco here, who does have that tactical visor, and there's no real counter.
Well, as far as it goes, I mean, you can back away from him. You can't throw someone to Poco in this situation. This is why Poco, he's going really deep here, but this is dangerous. For Attack Visor, you need a little bit more room, and he's just waiting for that position to drop the Attack Visor, but it's really late. He hasn't used it here just yet, even as the Transcendence is up, but now the Attack Visor comes out here from Poco, and Gamers Origin, slight man advantage, moving in. Still difficult though. NIP, they're playing around the side. They're not giving Gamers Origin a big clump to really go into, and they're rope-a-doping this pretty well.
Yeah, now with 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go, they were just 1.38 meters away, but Dixie Dix does have this Dragon Blade at the ready. It's immediately going to get countered by Zuppa, though. He's got that Transcendence at the ready, and so now Gamers Origin just not able to find their timing in these pushes.
This has been a little bit rough here for Gamers Origin. They had momentum, and it somewhat got away from them, but now they're going to move in. Dixie Dix with the Dragon Blade, but it's right into the Transcendence. This is going to be mostly a wash. Ultimate traded for Ultimate here. NIP still in a good position, though Himsy and Zuppa rather wounded here. It's going to be up to Linkser. The blade is out. Will he be able to clean this up? Finds one early on. Still dashing through. Good help for Linkser. And not quite as much as he would have liked, but it moves things just enough for Zappos to get the cleanup.
Yeah, it's coming down to the final push for Gamers Origins right now as they do back off for it. They do have the Transcendence once again on hip. Behind it, it's going to be the Primal Rage, possibly the Tactical Visor for Poco, but he hasn't been able to get much off of these so far. And like you had mentioned, NIP were doing a really great job of just staying spread out, playing the line of sights, and just avoiding it.
Well, we are now into the final 20 seconds. Gamers Origin, it is do or die if they want to fish out here on Route 66. Zappos trying to end things before it begins with the early pulse bomb. Doesn't quite connect. Gamers Origin, though, they have the Transcendence up. They can move right in with the heavy dive, and you gotta think that's what they're gonna be looking for. They're still a little bit spread out right here, but with a full 6, Attack Visor on deck, the final Visor away, but no, Poco getting just taken down. No, he wins versus Fraggy in the back. He is able to win that at 20 HP, and Gamers Origin now with a real chance of bringing this in.
NIP tried to go for that swap off. Himsy going on to Diva to deal with Poco there, but unfortunately he found his opening, and now he's starting to really light them up, taking out Zappos, and now time is ticking down. NIP, they're getting the staggered respawns here while they're just focusing down that Diva. Himsy will go down.
Himsy goes down, and Gamers Origin so close to pushing this one in. Poco just cleaning up every member of NIP as they roll back in. Linkser, last moment Dragon Blade, aided by Transcendence. This combination could push Gamers Origin off. They're not on the payload. They cannot retreat for too long, but they get right back on even as time ticks down. NIP still in desperation here, trying to delay this out, but they're getting the kills they need to do just that. Gamers Origin, they're so close yet so far.
Yeah, especially that respawn distance. Talk about far at this point. It feels like miles, and now Dixie Dix and Noki, though, coming on in. Linkser goes down.
It's Dixie Dix showing up out of nowhere with 3 kills, making 4 dash resets for days on the payload. It was looking like NIP might have held here, but with the power of Dixie Dix on their side, Gamers Origin is able to push that in at the last moment.
Yeah, just all across this map, it looked like individually, when you're talking about the 1v1s, the Genji versus Genji, the Tracer versus Tracer, everything was just coming up for Gamers Origin there throughout the entirety. And NIP were able to actually mount a defense once they got to that warehouse portion, but they weren't able to put a stop to them.
Well, it's actually very strange too, because there was a moment where they had about 3 to 4 kills on the payload in overtime. They even had Dragon Blade Transcendence, which, if it's not getting countered by a similar combination, is usually something strong enough to at least clear out a payload long enough for overtime to go away. But Gamers Origin, at the right moment, was able to back out. Overtime came about a third away from finishing, and they got back on just in time. And it's a situation that I'd say normally NIP should have been able to push them out on, but it was well played by Gamers Origin to keep that one alive.
So it is going to be Gamers Origin on the defense, and they're just going to go for that triple DPS once again, but they are bringing on an Ana. I believe that's the exact same way that NIP had opened up.
Yeah, they're bringing out the Ana here, and of course, we've seen teams more willing to not run with Ana in the beginning, where teams are more willing to run Lucio Zen, and hey, sometimes we even see Zen Ana. So it is sort of interesting how the support game in Overwatch is saying, hey, you actually don't just have to play this all the time. There's a little bit more variety in play.
The nice thing about it is just getting that early nano boost there, so you can have a bit more pressure on the card earlier on. And we'll see if that comes to fruition for Gamers Origin. NIP hovering over what looks like just the standard EU composition at this point, that triple DPS dive once again. We'll see if Zappis can really bring it out for his team. His pulse bombs, he landed 1 or 2 there, but he just hasn't been as impactful as we've seen many Tracers so far here in EU.
Well, it was back and forth there for Zappis early on. It's a case where it's hard to evaluate on just one round. I am curious to see what happens in this round. Certainly one to look at here is Fraggy, where Fraggy is a little bit more aggressive than your average fair tank here in EU, but sometimes it gets him into trouble where Fraggy, diving in early, already half HP, gonna have to back out. And Gamers Origin not giving up too much for free here. Not quite cold diving the way that NIP did early on, but their poke does result in early death here on the Zix. So you see Gamers Origin, now they're doubling down. Doesn't matter that they lost a Tracer. They are all in, and NIP feasting on their corpses.
Yeah, Gamers Origin just wanted to make sure they didn't stagger their kills there. So as soon as they had lost 2 or 3, they just decided to just, you know, jump right into the maw there. So they'll be able to reset and be able to recontest this. NIP with 3 minutes and 14 seconds now.
I mean, you could jump into the maw, but there's a perfectly available cliff. You could get some fresh air, or you could just retreat back. I don't know if feeding NIP ultimates there was really the play, but in any case, Gamers Origin is going to get the full reset. They did die all about the same time, and they're going to deep dive right back into NIP with good results this time. Zappe and Himsy going down immediately off of that dive from Ben Best.
Yeah, just the Winston along with the Genji and Tracer jumping onto the back line here. Ben Best lands right on top of Fraggy, takes him out. He might fall himself. Lynx are getting the dash resets, even picks up the Mega here, but now he's in a 2v1. Zappis is there to back him up though, and looks like NIP might have just cleaned this up on the payload.
NIP able to bring things right back here. Gamers Origin's dive, they weren't able to keep up the intensity. It's been somewhat sloppy here though by both teams, where fights where you'd think after an advantage one team would win, they end up throwing it away just by going a little bit too deep. And Gamers Origin, they don't want to give this up for free, but I don't know if Lucio had to go in there just yet. They still had everyone coming out, but with that early death, they just open things up for Linkser. They get 2 dash resets. Doesn't even need to use Blade here just yet. Both teams jockeying for position on the point.
Yeah, it was able to get that nano boost onto Ben Best here, and with that, able to convert on that kill onto Zappe, and now Gamers Origin back on the point. It's going to force back NIP.
That was a rough wake-up call for Linkser, where, you know, he's doing a lot of work, gets a little bit of a sleep in, and yeah, just gets ragdolled right back up. And Gamers Origin able to come back in despite the early death. So again, I feel like both of these teams have been giving each other gifts, and neither team has really been capitalizing the way you would want here. But the real story here is that despite how this has gone down, Gamers Origin is a minute 30 away from holding off NIP and being that much closer to this map 1 victory here on Route 66.
Yeah, and with that last fight, Gamers Origin was actually able to force out that Transcendence from Zappe. So when this Dragon Blade comes on out, they'll be able to push forward with that sound barrier if they want. Himsy is going to go ahead and use that Tactical Visor though.
Dr. Visor comes out here from Himsy. NIP all in, but they might as well be all out. Himsy tasting the blade of Dixie Dix there. 3-2 in favor of Gamers Origin, and they're just gonna trade it out very effectively. They'll get respawns in before the next push, and Lynx are doing the classic backflip die maneuver.
All right, 53 seconds left for NIP. They just need to get the first checkpoint here to keep this alive here on Route 66.
Well, the cool thing there is that Zappis was able to get 2 towards the very end, and that is going to give NIP a bit of an advantage coming in here. So Gamers Origin, again, a bit on the hot seat. Zik, pulse bomb at the ready, looking for a target. Lobs it right in, doesn't connect. Zappis, meanwhile, doing work into the back. A tail of 2 tracers with Zappis, right now doing more. NIP not going down quietly here on Route 66 just yet. They should be able to punch this one right in.
Just in the nick of time, 20 seconds left. They will get that first checkpoint, taking it into the second phase now here on Route 66. Gamers Origins, though, their defense looking pretty strong.
Their defense is looking good, but this has also been the NIP story all day long, where they toy with your hearts. They barely get to each point. They weren't able to get to this point in the tournament, but nothing has been easy for NIP today. And for a team of their pedigree, this has been rough. That said, 2.5 minutes left. They can pick up some momentum here, but Fraggy just really far out, arguably too much so. The rest of his team wasn't really with him, and though they're able to trade out Winston's, this isn't the greatest opening here for NIP.
Nano Visor comes out from Gamers Origin, but it's immediately answered by that Transcendent. Through it, though, Poco will be able to find that kill onto Lynxer. Now they're starting to clean up, but they're off the payload, so got some free distance there. Now Fraggy and Zappis coming in.
And again, this could have been a much easier fight for NIP early on. Yes, perhaps respawns will let them bring it back over, but they're giving up kills in situations where they don't need to give up kills. I mean, Fraggy was very deep there where he didn't need to be, and yes, the payload is moving now, and they do have a barrier blade coming up, but this has been tough for NIP.
Yeah, Lynxer does spot out that Soldier 76. He doesn't have to even worry about the tactical visor, just the support ultimates, that possible sound barrier. Noki's so close to it, he's at 82% right now.
All right, well, Gamers Origin, they do have outs here in this fight. The long blade of Dixie Dix is ready if he decides to come in with that Dragon Blade. And right now, it's a bit back and forth here. You have Ben Best creating a bit of disruption with Primal Rage. Both teams still at 6 players, but now the blade is coming up from Lynxer. Both Genjis unleash the blade, but the sound barrier is going to be making Lynxer's life a little bit rougher here. He has to back out immediately, doesn't get as much as he wants, but while all that is going on, you might have been looking at the blade, but they weren't looking at the dive from Fraggy and Zappis, able to cleave through the back line and give NIP an opening that they desperately needed.
Yeah, timing was so unfortunate. Noki was about 95% towards his ultimate there when the blade came on out. And as soon as it did, I believe it was Ben Best dropped first, so they were already playing into a man disadvantage there, and they had no real other power behind it other than that Dragon Blade to try and answer back. So now NIP, with 2 minutes on the clock, they've got to push it pretty far away here in the warehouse.
And it takes a while for this payload to actually just traverse, even when everyone's on the payload, so they don't have that much of a buffer here, maybe 2 fights at most. Gamers Origin taking the initiative, diving in with Primal Rage early on here, gonna be answered by the Transcendence from NIP. Both teams still alive, no one dying in that entire exchange. And the important thing for NIP, they're keeping the payload moving, and they get the pulse bomb into the back. Now NIP with a chance to really develop some momentum here.
Yeah, Poco got brought down over there by the Mega Health Pack. Now Zix will take his position, has to back away as the Discord Orb is on him. And Zuppy's been doing a much better job of calling out his targets. As we've been seeing, NIP have been focusing really heavily on the Discord targets.
They have been trying to work with Zuppe for sure, but it has been somewhat tortured and back and forth. Still though, they are almost to that yellow box of victory. Ben Best down immediately, a 6v5 opportunity presenting itself. However, Poco is going to be the one to watch here. Has an attack visor, looking for the high ground and has it. Just lays in the visor immediately, but not able to finish a kill. Lynxer coming in from the side, stopping that in its tracks. And NIP with a great opportunity now to finish things out with the time advantage.
Yeah, Lynxer's got the blade, got 2 kills. That's both supports down, and Ben Best with the Orb of Discord on him. Even though you got 1,000 HP, you burned through that real quickly. Poco did swap off onto that Diva, but he's going to immediately go down for his efforts. Dragon Blade not even come out for Dixie Dix, and here's just the final attempt to try and delay.
Well, the delay is coming out here, but NIP is feasting on the corpses of Gamers Origin here. This is, of course, the last moment stall that we see so often, but Zappis more than happy to mow down player after player there towards the end. And NIP, despite a little bit of roughness, able to finish things out with the time advantage as we go into extra rounds.
Zappis really started to come alive there on the offense. He was finding the opening frags for his team, really creating those openings, either pulse bomb or just one-clipping targets. And now you see this is Linkser going off with that Dragon Blade toward that last push. And I mean, things look dire. They almost got full held by Gamers Origin on the first point.
Well, that's been sort of the story of NIP all day long, where they have moments where they remind you that they were at one point one of the very best teams in Europe, but it's been difficult for them to put together a full map of consistent, good quality Overwatch here. And that's why the description of them just being wounded, just barely crawling their way through, has been really apt for NIP, and we'll see if they can get things a little bit more together here. I mean, still, they're in a good position to take Route 66, but with only a 28-second advantage, if Gamers Origin puts forward a defense of a similar caliber, they very well could take this one away from NIP.
Yeah, one of the games I saw earlier today involving NIP here on Route 66, you had mentioned earlier on the broadcast, a 1-minute push that started in overtime before they even got to the bend. They were able to complete out the map. NIP just need to be able to close this out and not struggle here. So Gamers Origin, it looks like it's just going to be mirrored compositions coming up from each side. NIP favoring that Ana for the defense.
NIP again is really far up here, where this is high risk, high reward. I will say that in overtime, a single wipe here could be giving Gamers Origin a lot of room to work with. So we'll see if this high risk, high reward works out here for NIP. Gamers Origin right now just trying to gather spawn, get progress on the payload, and NIP this time around more willing to give up room. They're not diving in quite as deep, and I feel like this is pretty smart.
Yep, Ben Best did go down, but they're still getting some movement on that payload so far. 30 seconds left. They're about to hit that bend. Now Zappe, he almost has that nano boost at the ready. 72% currently, and that's going to be a huge boon if he could just drop it on Fraggy and just try and force people off the point, but a great sleep dart comes in.
We have a sleeping Gamers Origin player here in the back. Gonna get woken up, and is he gonna get out? No, the Ana grenade stops him from healing up the way he'd like to. And now Gamers Origin, time running out. Overtime about to be in progress. They have to take a 5 versus 6. And with losing Zenyatta early on, this is gonna go from bad to worse. Here comes the nano boost in. We see Himsy diving right into the fray. Pulse bomb connects, and all of a sudden it is Zik, creating a moment of hope here perhaps, but Linkser trying to remove that hope immediately as both teams contest the payload.
Yeah, it's just down to this Genji so far. We do have Linkser with that Dragon Blade trying to get that final frag here, and there it is. He will go down. And so, NIP able to regain their footing here on the defense and put a stop to them just as they hit that bend.
This is really good for NIP, where, yes, Gamers Origin had a great defense on first, but the defense on first, they had a lot more room to work with beforehand. I'm not going to say it's impossible for Gamers Origin to hold here, because we have seen some pretty crazy holds in recent times, but by all rights, this is a push that NIP should be able to convert on.
And immediately we're seeing Himsy actually hovering over that Diva, not feeling as confident possibly, or just wants to shut down Poco on the side of Gamers Origin.
I personally think Himsy is just wistfully hovering over Roadhog and wondering when can we be reunited, because of course Himsy was at one point one of the most prolific Roadhog players in the game, and NIP has had to sort of move away from their traditional favored strategies here. So Himsy going with the Diva, still a little bit more up his alley if you think about what he has historically played.
Yep, so the 2-2-2 composition for NIP on their offense now. Gamers Origin, though, haven't changed up anything really at all. Hip picking up the Ana, and so we'll see if he can get that nano boost up quickly and throw it on to Ben Best or Dixie Dix. Now, Gate is about to unlock, and so they will be sticking with that.
Well, the key here for me, when you take a look at this here for the Gamers Origin defense, is that they really can't lose anyone over a minute and a half. They have to play this pretty much perfectly. NIP has a lot more room to work with.
And as they get out the gates, Himsy actually swaps off. He's going to go back to that Soldier 76 now. And it's interesting, Gamers Origin actually just holding on top of big girls here.
I think for Gamers Origin, they realize that if they go deeper, it's not really going to help them. They don't have the time to run back for 2 fights. It's 1 fight, and that's it. So you might as well take the most advantageous positioning possible here. But they will have to contest this in just a moment. So expect the dive in soon as NIP just see Frankie more than willing to sit behind and just push that with his Winston head.
Yeah, Zappis below Big Earls just drawing attention away, trying to create some openings for The team there, now they are on the point contesting right now, 45 seconds left, and Himsy starts it off, taking out Ben Best, and that's huge.
Ben Best was a little bit far out, does not get the support he needs, and NIP just a little bit away now from bringing this one right in. They have a 65 opportunity. You see Zappis working his way around the flank. You have the Winston coming in from the front. This is very difficult here from Gamer's Origin. The Pulse Bomb goes out, and it's Linkser. Dash resets coming in, taking out 2 more key parts of Gamer's Origin, and this is all over but the crying. NIP will take Route 66 away from Gamer's Origin.
Zappis just did a great job of drawing the attention away from the payload and making sure that they couldn't turn a blind eye to him. They had to pay attention. I mean, he's been really coming alive, especially on their first offense there.
Well, Zappis, I mean, he's been a very solid tracer all day, so it's not too surprising to see him have a moment there towards the back. What strikes out to me about both of these teams, though, is that there's definitely times where both Fraggy and Ben Best sort of went down early without a whole lot of rhyme or reason. And one thing we see in Overwatch is that teams are defined by their tank play and initiation. They're defined by how their supports back it up. And there are definitely times where both of these teams had advantages that they sort of threw away off strange initiation. So it was a little bit sloppy from both sides, but NIP holding victorious when the dust settles.
Yeah, and it feels like they do better at the end. It's like when there's a clear path to victory, it's like, oh, we really got to win right now. I guess we'll play this better. Because at the very end there, they were looking fairly patient on their defense and their attack. On their defense, they were just kind of like remaining in the proximity of the payload without really investing their resources. And then they were able to back off towards the end of that minute. And then, of course, they're on attack. They just let their Winston just slowly push forward, and then they backed off and re-engaged right after that pick onto Ben Best. But yeah, other than that, NIP, they come out on top on 66.
And yeah, throughout the day, actually, they were struggling on Route 66, and that's where they took a lot of their map losses.